Leader skills in Dokkan have been a thing since the beginning of the game, and that is one of the most important aspects of how a unit can kind of age, or how a unit can be redeemed with time with an easy A or something like that. But one thing that is really important is to see how leader skills have evolved over time. We've went from stuff like just like attack plus 3000, and then STR Gogeta changing the game with his ki plus 3 and stuff like that, and now we are all the way up to the point where we have 200% to stats and 4 ki. So, you know, evolution of leader skills has always been an important part of the Dokkan power creep, and it'll be interesting to see in the future is if they do more. But, you know, it's always something to think about. But that's what we're going to be talking about today. So, welcome back to the 5-9 mobile channel. My name is Vilify. I'll be hosting for you today, and we are going to be talking about the evolution of leader skills. Have we reached a point where they are as good as they can be, or do you think that they could potentially ramp it up even more? I think it's an interesting point of discussion, and it's always going to come down to how they evolve power creep in this game. If they think that the 200% leader skill meta is the absolute apex of the evolution, or the apex of how this game was meant to like reach in terms of like the ceiling of its power, I think that that could be something you know, that goes down the future. Like, it could be something very interesting. But what I do think is that leader skills should always be evolving. Maybe one day we see a leader skill where it's ki plus 5, and every unit starts at ki 10 and orbs are just not an issue. Maybe we see something where the 200% leader skill isn't just to stats. What if a leader skill is 30% damage reduction or 10% damage reduction for all units, maybe even 5%? Do we get a 175% leader skill instead of 177 like we got for Universe 7, Goku and Frieza, or 180% like we had with, you know, the Goku family and Vegeta family, Potara and Fusion that we got during the 7-year anniversary? It's one of those things that's always going to kind of come up as a topic of discussion, but I do think that looking at what a healthy balance for the game looks like is also important, because earlier in a video you might see before this, we touched up on the idea of power creep. Has power creep gotten out of hand? Is power creep healthy right now, and what should that be? I also think one of the more important things is, what does a healthy leader skill setup look like? And this goes hand in hand with power creep. Would it be too much if we got a 250% leader skill? Would it be too much if we got 5 ki rather than just doing the 3 or 4 ki that we've been so used to seeing these days? I think these are all good questions, and the answer, to be honest with you, I don't think there's a clear answer. I think if units are going to continue to get better, if content's going to continue to get harder, then I think we have to evaluate that in a vacuum, and maybe not evacuate it in a vacuum rather, and say like, hey, maybe a 210% leader skill meta is appropriate. Maybe adding damage reduction to leader skills is appropriate, because we're already seeing hints of that being sprinkled into the game with passive skills, right? Where most of the time, like, I think Kid Goku is unique in the sense that he gives, Path to Power Kid Goku is unique in the sense that he gives, you know, damage reduction via support if he gets a certain amount of orbs. And maybe we start seeing that evolve into damage reduction becoming part of the leader skill. And that all of a sudden makes a less hyped Dokkan Fest super, super valuable. Like, you look at a unit like AGL Captain Ginyu, right? This is a unit that, beside from being cracked, also has a really good leader skill. It opens up an avenue for a unit like AGL Full Power Frieza at the time to have access to a 200% leader skill. So then you take one of these units that has amazing stats, and that's kind of like their big niche, right? AGL Full Power Frieza will just blow you away with the sheer attack numbers that he is doing, the defense numbers that he can have if he's stacked up. If he has a slot 1 partner and he can just do his thing in slot 2, he is going to be looking mega impressive, and especially on a 200% leader skill. But let's take a caveman type of unit like that, like we think about a unit like LR Jiren, and we give him a 250% leader skill, and then maybe after his easy A, all of a sudden Jiren is hitting for 15 million turn 1 because he has a 250% leader skill. And that's where the question asks, is that healthy for the game? Is it a good thing if that happens? Do you think it should continue to evolve? I think that, honestly, the way that the game is right now, I think 200% leader skills are fine, and I think that they could continue to do these for multiple years, and I think it would be all right. We don't need to see a 250% leader skill anytime soon, just because of the way the content is, right? You look at the 8-year anniversary units, and it's almost like they're too good for the content that they're, like, you know, we had this discussion yesterday when I recorded it, but, like, it's like they're too good for the content that's not made for them, right? And if we don't have content that challenges these units, then I don't see any reason to evolve the leader skills. But leader skills are just something that are so important in this game. Like, they are the kind of the face of the power creep movement, right? Because you think about like the 120 to stats, the all type leaders, you think about ki, you think about when it used to do flat stats like attack plus 3000 and stuff like that. If we don't have that progression, it makes it tough for the game to evolve, right? And the only way that we see that is if the game continues to go, it has to continue to evolve, right? I feel like I'm kind of talking in circles in here, but I'm trying to belabor the point that I think that right now the 200% leader skill is good. And I think rather than evolving it to higher numbers, I think we should get more unique with the mechanic. I think that the best idea is to give a leader skill additional 5% to damage reduction for the whole team, additional chance to crit for the whole team, maybe additional chance to dodge. It doesn't just have to be to flat stats, right? It could be a 200% leader skill with that, but I do think it's like, hey, maybe 170 to stats, 25 to damage reduction, right? For all allies. Then you take some of the best units in the game that maybe don't have the best defensive prowess, and then you kind of combine them with a unit that has damage reduction in the leader skill, and all of a sudden, some of these best units in the game that don't have damage reduction all of a sudden do. And I think that's a really good, healthy way to do it, because you're taking units that don't have a defensive gimmick and are giving them via support, giving them via leader skill. I think that all of that is very good for the game when you can kind of resurrect a unit with damage reduction when they don't have it, right? Because there's only, Kid Goku is on a lot of teams, but he can't save every unit with that damage reduction support. And it's only I think it's what, an additional 7% or something like that per orb, so it's up to 21%, I think. But that Kid Goku, as amazing as he is, unfortunately he can't just save the game at face value. And I think another way we could save a lot of these units is if you do these types of things where you give them the extra damage reduction, you give them the chance to dodge. Imagine how the game would be different if leader skills had the chance to dodge. Then you wouldn't have to prioritize the 3 dodge and the hidden potential system as much. You could do less time making full dodge builds just for the meme of it almost, but I know full dodge is very good defensively, but what if you didn't have to do that and you could just focus on maximizing your damage and letting the leader skill do that job for you, right? Because I don't know about you guys, but as cool as it is that a unit can dodge, I don't really like building my units with full dodge, because then it's just damn, I really am losing a lot of offensive capabilities here. But obviously the defense is king in today's meta, so it makes a lot of sense. But I kind of personally, I'm not an APT guy, but I prefer an offensive meta. I think that it's the most fun when a good defense or the best defense is a good offense, right? And I just really enjoy that aspect of the game when I can just take a unit and crack them out with attack numbers. So Blue Kaioken Goku's Easy A, that's the kind of unit I like, where he can just do so much damage. It's why do you need to worry about dying when you're doing enough damage and the enemy can't hit you anyway, right? That's my kind of unit, and I really do like that. But again, I'm not an APT boy, so please don't label me as an APT kind of guy. But I do like doing a lot of damage. I think that's way more fun than tanking things. So, anyway, leader skills. So if you guys kind of want my conclusion of this video, I do think that leader skills will continue to evolve, and I think that is crucial that they do, because it's going to get to a point where it gets boring when units are just 200% leader skills. I think innovating them with new mechanics, giving us kind of new things to try out and different ways to do team building because of the leader skills being different is the best way for the game to go going forward. And I do think that they will continue to evolve, because Dokkan really has shown us that they are committed to evolving the product and making it as fun as possible for everybody involved. So let me know down below what you guys think about leader skills and how important they are. Do you guys think that I'm overrating it? Do you think that I'm being rational in the way that I'm thinking about it? What kind of leader skills would you like to see in the future? All kinds of different stuff like that. We could just have a nice leader skill discussion in the comments below. I'll try and get back to you guys. But that's all I got for you today. My name has been Vilify. If you want to check me out on my own channel, there will be a link in the description. I do Dokkan content and discussions like this on my own channel. And as well, make sure that you subscribe to 5-9 Mobile first and foremost, so that way you don't miss out on any of the Dokkan content that we post here. If you're into Legends, we have you covered on that too. So that's all I got for you today. Don't forget to leave a like if you did enjoy, subscribe if you're new, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.